Hi, this is exercise 2. In this exercise, we're going to be adding links and images into your website pages. To start off with, let's open up our code editor. You can use any editor you choose. And we're also going to open a browser up. And you can see that I'm in the exercise 2 folder. I have some HTML pages in here. And this one here, text formatting.html, is actually left over from the first exercise. I just threw it in here so we have an extra page that we can link to. And we also have two new pages, the meta.html and images-links.html. And we also have a folder here called images. And inside of that, we have a picture here of Mark Twain that we're going to be working with here in a little bit. It's always a good habit to have a separate folder for all of your images. That way you can see all of your HTML pages and you have all of your files of the same type are all organized. So here we have images existing in its own folder. And it's common to see that. So to start off with, let's open the images-links.html page. And you can see a lot of the markups actually written for you here. We're just going to be adding in an image here at the top to start off with. Now in HTML, the way we add images into the page is using the img element, which looks like this. This particular element does not need a closing tag. We just have this opening img tag here. At this point, we've told the browser that we want an image to go there, but we still have to tell it the source location of the image. And to do that, we use the src attribute. src standing for source. Now, in order to point to the correct image location, we have to consider which page we're on right now and the path to that particular image. So let's take a look at the folder structure here. Let's say that we're standing here on the images-links.html page, and let's imagine that if we look to the right, we can see here that there's another page called meta, and if we look beyond that, we can see there's another page called text formatting.html. If we look to our left, we see a folder called images. We can imagine that folders are kind of like buildings. We can see the name of it, but we can't see inside of it yet because we haven't gone inside of it. So in order to see what images are in there, we actually have to go inside of it. And then once we go inside that building, we can see that inside of there is an image called mark_twain_pic_440.png. So if we'd like to link to that particular path or that location of that image file, we have to first give it the folder name. So in HTML, whenever we're pointing to files, whether it's through linking to other pages itself or linking to images, we have to give the relative location to that file or folder. Now, in the case where we want to go inside a folder to find the image, we write the folder name followed by the /. So this will go inside a folder. Now, if we'd like to stay in the same folder that we're currently in, we don't really have to type anything regarding the folder's name or slashes. What we can do is just simply give the file name itself. For example, if this image existed in the same folder here, meaning it was not in the images folder, I could simply just put the name of the file itself. But in this case, it actually is in the images folder, so I have to type the folder name / and then the name of the file. Now, if I wanted to go back a folder or outside of this particular folder, in this case it's the exercise 2 folder, if I wanted to actually go outside the exercise 2 folder or the current parent folder, we would say .. which will go outside the current folder. So by using folder name / and .. or any combination of that, we're able to navigate the folder structure to get to the files we need. So in this case, I want to say images / and then the file name mark_twain pic and 440.png. So if I save that and refresh, we can see the image then appears inside the HTML page here. Now whenever I'm uploading my website files to the remote server, I always have to remember not only to include this HTML page, but I also have to include this images folder and any images inside of it that I'm using within the HTML page. Some other attributes that are very useful to put inside of the image are things like width and height. So using the width attribute, I can specify how many pixels wide, and by using the height attribute, I can specify how many pixels tall the image is. And this is always a good habit. Another attribute that's good to add here is something called alternative text, which we can add by saying alt. In this case, we'd like to give a description of what the image is showing or what the content of the image is about. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that this is an illustration of Mark Twain. Okay. Now, alternative text serves several purposes. The first is that if someone's visually impaired and they visit the website, they may not be able to see the image, but a screen reader can actually read the alternative text to them. That way they're not missing any content. So in this case, it would actually read illustration of Mark Twain in place of them being able to see the image. Another purpose this serves is that search engines, they don't have eyeballs like we do. They actually can't see the image either. So in their case, they can still absorb useful information in the alternative text about the image. And last but not least, a third purpose it could serve is if we accidentally break the link to the image itself. For example, if I misspell something, like for example, let's say I change the folder name here, it's now looking for the image in a location where it doesn't exist. There's no such thing as an image folder. In fact, this one has an S on the end for images. So by breaking this link here, you can see that you get a little question mark showing me that it doesn't know where to find the image. And up here in the upper left-hand corner, it's actually displaying the alt text, or the alternative text here saying illustration of Mark Twain. So even if the link is broken, the alt text will stand in and give us, give the viewer some idea of what was supposed to be there. I'm going to go ahead and fix that broken link again by adding the S back in. Now, you can also see that because we added the width and the height here, that whenever the image link is broken, it doesn't actually change my layout. It still takes up 400 pixels tall by 400 pixels wide, even when the image link is broken. So that's another reason why putting in the width and height is also useful. So if I save and refresh, there we can see that since I fixed the location to the image folder there, that it actually can see it again. Another useful attribute we can add is something called title. In this case, I'm just going to go down and grab a quote here. I'll just grab this first sentence here. It was a time of great and exalting excitement. And I'll just put this in the title tag value here, the title attribute value. And I'm going to go ahead and save that and refresh. And you'll see that if I leave the mouse on the image long enough, a small caption actually appears there. Let's see that again. If we zoom in, we can see here it says, it was a time of great and exalting excitement. When I move the mouse, that disappears. And when I place the mouse back, I'm able to see that title appear. So you can add this title attribute to both links and images. And when the user hovers over, it can give them some more detailed information. Okay. So that is how you can link an image. Moving on, we're going to check out how to add links between our pages.